time again. All right, it is live. Yes, we are off for another lovely, wonderful Thursday afternoon for the WP Plugins A-Z show. And now that I'm going live and just pushing it out there, we're getting the little things all set up, all the little final tiddly bits. Time to play with them dials and pegs. And let's well, everything looks good. All right, let's get this going, and a little bit of music while we play with the dials and pegs and get it up and rolling.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time.
Not saying they're right or wrong. I ain't no Texan dancer, we'll move it right along.
Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the chigger just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine?
Definitely mine.
Squirrel! Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
Alrighty. It is just about that time to line it up and get this show launched and moving for the Thursday. It is that annual time. Well, semi-annual, weekly, whatever you want to call it. I know what I'm talking about. I like to think I do anyway. All right, let's move this over and get it off to the live zone. So off we go. And remember, if you've got questions, you're in the chat windows. Feel free to pop them in as we go. Comments, I'm always up for comments. Good, bad, indifferent. I really don't care. All right, let's get this show on the road. Booking the date. It's episode 467 with plugins for tracking time, keeping up with the markets, social images, and ClassicPress options, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the Brewery Overlook in beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. I'm John Overall. And, of course, I have the usual great show for you, but right off the top, don't forget, this is great appreciation to the No Agenda Show for their inspiration of ideas and the occasional stolen sound clip.
Squirrel!
This is a value for value show, and I look forward to everyone providing some value back. Start by subscribing to the newsletter for additional information. Get out there and hit everyone in the mouth. Spread the word about WP Plugins A to Z. You can also catch it live every Thursday at noon on my YouTube channel. So just go check that out. The link is in the show notes. All right, this is episode 26 of 52 episodes for 2020. It's episode 467. We are now at the halfway mark of the year that keeps on giving. Time to step it up and start doing some giving to support this show. We are now 26 weeks into 2020 and 15 weeks of the Rona. The surge has arrived and it's going to get you. Duck, run for cover, quick, hide. Oh my God. 2020, it started out to be such a great, optimistic kind of year. Then we were told to panic about the Rona. Well, that panic went away and we stopped working that one out. Then all of a sudden some riots and protests. Now we had to panic and worry about that. Nope, that petered out. And guess what? We're back to being told it's time to panic about the Rona, wrap a mask around your face, and well, you know how that goes. How about if we just let people live their lives, take appropriate precautions to preserve their health like humans have done for the past millennium? I'm pretty sure the human race will make it through this disaster like it has so many others in the dark recesses of time. These are indeed strange times to be alive, and I'm doing what I can to prepare my kids and grandkids for what is coming. The best thing you can do is relax, take a breath, go buy a gun, learn to hunt, build a garden, realize things are not nearly as bad as the news says they are. Save your sanity, save your amygdala, find out why you're not going to die, go listen to the No Agenda Show. They'll really help you out. And what do we have today? Well,
watch it, turn it, leave it, stop for now.
iPhone, schmyphone. The way I see it, the only good phone's a landline, and the phone should be made out of Bakelite.
That's right, everybody. Time for tech news. John, do we have tech news?
oh, absolutely. We have tech news. And yes, all phones should be made out of Bakelite and have a rotary dial. We'd have a whole lot less troubles than we do today. Pretty sure social media has just made a mess of things. All right, so what do we have for news? Okay, well, we've got a short week this week on news, very light. First news item I've got for you here is a really interesting article. If you're looking to build out a membership site, there's lots of membership plugins. I've covered numerous ones over the years. You can do a search for membership plugins in the search function on WP Plugins A to Z to find out what I covered. This is an article here that kind of consolidated them down, and so I thought I'd spread it along. It's 24 different membership plugins to help you capture reoccurring revenue, and it's a pretty good list. It's got some of the usual ones in there, like Ultimate Membership, MemberPress, Paid Membership Pro, BuddyPress, WP Members. It's got a few of those, but it's also got a few unusual ones, such as Simple Members, Profile Grid, Access Ally. So you might want to go check this article out. It might help you out if you're looking to build out a membership site to choose a membership plugin that suits your need, one you can understand. Over the years of building out membership sites, I've discovered that some plugins are a lot easier to use than others. I mean, Paid Membership Pro is a pretty comprehensive plugin, but the configuration of it is pretty insane. And as it starts to age, it gets a little harder to maintain, I've noticed. I've ended up taking over or supporting Paid Membership Pro sites, and as it aged, it was really starting to show its problematic side. So keep that in mind. Don't just think, what am I going to do this year, next year? Think 3-5 years down the road on what your membership site's going to do and how that plugin might age. Anyway, check this article out. It could help you out quite nicely. Another interesting article from the Tavern. This one here is the best documentation is no documentation. Now, this is an interesting take on theme developers, plugin developers not providing as much documentation due to the simple fact that most people don't read it anyway. It was an interesting article. I thought I might share it with folks, give you a different take on what some folks think about it. Yeah, the final little piece of news I got this week is a warning out there to everyone. This is a scam that is making the rounds right now. It's a fake DNS update email. Now, you shouldn't need a DNS update if you've got your DNS set on your site, but they're sending out a fake email, and to unsuspecting people, they'll end up logging in to a scam website, giving away the login information for their domain, and promptly have their domain stolen out from under them. So this is something you want to be aware of, and let you know that if you get an email you're not expecting, never click a link in the email. Always go straight to the source for the company that is mentioned, you know, and make sure it's a very clean, freshly opened browser, and then log in, and then you know you're logging into the source, and see if there's any issues at the source. Never trust an email. There are so many scams out there. Okay, that is what we have for news. Don't have a whole lot. It's kind of a light week this week. Plus, I've been rather busy catching up on projects. Seems the more you get, the more you have to do. Not a complaint, just an observation. I never complain about the amount of work I have, just an observation of it. Often puts me behind when I have way too much, or when things don't always go as planned. Okay, this show is supported by you, the producers, the ones that I do this show for. I don't need to do this show for me. You know, it's not for me, it's for you folks out there. Gives you information. Some weeks is really good information, some weeks not so good. Although I never know entirely for certain because I get so little feedback. We'll talk about that in a bit. Anyway, this is also a value for value model, meaning if you're getting any value out of it, then give some value back. What do I mean by value?
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Absolutely. Just send your cash. That's what I need most. But I do like to acknowledge those who have helped produce the show in other ways. And there's lots of other ways. First off, one of the biggest things that happens is, as if any of you pay attention to your podcast feed, you should see the artwork change every week. I've taken that idea from the No Agenda show and applied it to mine. Now, I've been doing that for well over a year now, changing the artwork week after week to give it a new, fresh look every week with a different use of my logo. This week's artwork comes from Danielle Pies, and this is a really neat one here. It's the WP logo on a book, which is a kind of a really cool look on it. It's different, unusual, and I'm looking for more of that kind of artwork instead of the standard pictures or graphics. You know, take my logos, do something a little different with it, have some fun. You know, be artistic and creative. Submit them, get credits for the show. Now, we've got here, what the heck was that? All of a sudden, all my notes just freaked out on me. That was irritating. Okay, come back down here. There we go. Now there's a link in the show notes to where you can submit the artwork. So thank you, Danielle Pies, and you can go check out his stuff there over at daniellepies.com. He's a web developer and a graphic designer. So go check out his work. He's got a link in the show notes for it. I also like to acknowledge the executive producers. The executive producers of this show, well, I don't have any this week, but the executive producer is anyone who comes in with $50 or more donation. They get their note read out, and any links they throw in their note are automatically included in the show notes. So think about that. Anyway, support the show, but I do like to give a big thank you to the producers out there who come in under $50, and for those who have set up small monthly or weekly subscriptions that, you know, kick a couple of bucks here and there, maybe never buy me a cup of coffee, but do help offset the costs of the show. And those costs are not extensive, but they are there. Servers, bandwidth, you know, time to do the show, et cetera, all of those things. And a big thank you to those of you who've hired me because of the podcast. That's as good as donating to the show. And there has been a number of you folks over the years that have hired me because you've been listening to the show. Okay, other things you can do besides giving money to donate the show, you can submit artwork at the WP Plugins A-Z art generator. You can submit articles, news, information, plugin suggestions. All of those things can be done from the website links to contact page or the plugin submissions page. That information does get used in the shows, and I include as much as I can every show or whatever I have for every show. And of course, just a reminder, we do have our Patreon still running. I think there's maybe one subscriber there at the moment, but you know, if you want to subscribe to your Patreon, feel free. Eventually, I may kill it. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you very much to everyone who supported the show. Let's move on to the meat and potatoes of the show. Alrighty, so what do we got? Usually this point here is where I jump into the ClassicPress options. Well, I don't have any ClassicPress options this week. It's another quiet week. I've just not had time to do anything for ClassicPress. ClassicPress is unfortunately at the bottom of my list right now because all of my projects have been in WordPress and I go where the money's at. What can I say? I don't have the luxury right now of being able to focus on building a new business under ClassicPress. If you're building a new business, I would suggest you go with ClassicPress. It will be much better than WordPress ever is right now. It may take them a couple of years, but I'm pretty sure they're going to dwarf them. All right, so the usual resources for ClassicPress, ClassicPress Club, the ClassicPress forum, the list of plugins over there, the Code Potent directory. There's a few things there, and I know more things are in the works for ClassicPress. They just haven't released them. They're coming up on their 2-year mark here pretty soon. I believe it's August sometime is when it came into existence. So they're about to turn 2 years old. So keep that in mind. WordPress itself didn't make any inroads until they were 5 years old, because I found them about the time they were 6. And they were so very raw at the time. It wasn't until WordPress was 8 or 9 before it started leaping forward. So keep that in mind. Okay, so let's dive into the WordPress plugins. What do I have for you this week? Okay, first off, for those of you who have asked, I like to give this as a reminder from time to time in the show. I have a link in the show notes that takes you to the WordPress.org plugins browse new. This is a listing of all of the most recent plugins that have been submitted to the WordPress repository. Everything within the last couple of weeks, all the way up to even, say, yesterday. Some of them are as quickly as a few hours ago. So you might want to check this out from time to time if you're looking for a new or unique plugin, just to see what's being produced, see what the trends are. One interesting thing is to see the trends, because you'll see them pop up here, a whole bunch of plugins of one particular type all at once. It's like when the Rona first hit everyone, there was a slew of plugins that popped through about the Rona. So those sorts of things, you can pick out the trends from time to time with it. Okay, the first one I've got here for you is one that I have reviewed before, but of course I did the review without actually trying and attempting to install it. And I thought it looked like a pretty good plugin. I'm pretty sure that's what I said when I reviewed it. This is called Master Image Feed for Elementor. Now, if you're a fast reader and a skimmer, which many people are on the internet, you skim through things and you go, okay, this looks like a plugin for me. And so you go to install it. Well, that's what happened here. This one here, I felt like I got a little scammed on it is what happened, because I installed what I thought was the plugin. It turns out this is a plugin for all of their plugins or all of their add-ons that go with this plugin. And what happens is a vast number of their add-ons are free, but a large chunk of the add-ons are premium add-ons. So what happens, you install this, it goes to a page where you can then choose the other ones or pay for the license fee. Well, that's okay. I've got no problem with that. My always complaint has been, be upfront about it. Put it in the first bloody paragraph where people actually read that. They don't just put it in the paragraph that this is a standalone plugin for Elementor, which means, okay, it's a standalone plugin. Well, it's not a standalone plugin. It's a plugin that is dependent upon this plugin that is needed to install it. So I felt a little scam from this. I discovered this isn't exactly what I want to do. Not that I don't like paying for premium plugins. I mean, I pay a large chunk of change every year out to premium plugins. A good $2,000-3,000 a year go out to licenses for plugins that I have across the board. Not a problem paying for them. But when you hide it like this, it feels like a scam. So anyway, I have to do something I hadn't done in a while, and that is I give master image feed for Elementor a 1 dragon rating. Sucks to be them. Okay, next item I've got up for you here is economic market news. And again, I haven't had a chance to test this one out, but it does look like a pretty good plugin. Now, I have used Stockdeal plugins before. I've got one running on a demo site somewhere, a sandbox page I've been playing with that gives me a listing of stock lists. This one here is designed for you to get news and information about markets from around the world, and their plugins work pretty efficiently. I think you have to actually sign up for a API key to tap into their news feed, but they don't charge you for it as long as you're below a certain threshold of API calls. You exceed that, you're starting to make a business out of it, then they want to charge you. Fair enough. Anyway, they're pretty decent plugins for what they do. And this one here was relatively new in the repository. And I saw it and thought, okay, well, let's check this one out. It seems to be all right. I can recommend you go check it out and see if it will work for you to provide economic and market news to your website, or maybe that's the market you serve under your website domain. Go check it out. Economic and market news. I give it a 4 dragon rating. And the final one I've got for you here today, this is Timer Counter for Elementor Addons. And this one here is an add-on specifically for Elementor. It creates an Elementor widget, and it creates you 3 types of timers. It creates you a clock. It creates you a time countdown for days, hours, minutes, seconds, or it creates you a regular countdown, which is just set a number and it counts down from that number. And if you've got premium Elementor, you've got a little more flexibility with it to play with it. If you just got the basic Elementor, it still works well. You set it as an element, set it up, set it where you want it. Maybe you've got a countdown to an event. Maybe you're counting down like the 2030 website, counting down to the end of the world. Countdown2030.com. And this is a really great little tool if you need a countdown and you need an actual free plugin. So go check this one out. It's Timer Counter for Elementor Addons, and I give it a 4 dragon rating. And this show is currently brought to you by Save Time and Money Managing Multiple WordPress Websites. If you have several WordPress websites to manage, either for your clients or yourself, then you know how much time it can take managing them all. Time that is spent on mundane administrative tasks and then losing that time for your important business tasks. CMS Commander is an online service that solves this problem and makes managing multiple WordPress websites fast and easy, as simple as controlling a single site. By placing all your websites in one powerful dashboard, CMS Commander makes it possible to update, backup, and manage them all at the same time in one place. Features of CMS Commander include one-click updates of plugins, themes, and WordPress core for all sites, automatic scheduled website backups, website cloning and restoration, uptime monitoring and analytics integration, bulk posting and automatic content. Sign up now for your 14-day trial at cmscommander.com and access all the features that will allow you to manage more websites and save time. Absolutely. CMS Commander is great. Check it out at wpplugins A-Z.com/CMS Commander. Use that link if you do sign up. I get a little bit of kickback from it. It is an affiliate, not an actual ad. Okay, listener feedback. I do have some this week, I'm really happy to say. And I got a small snippet of a letter from someone, and I'll just read that out. Okay, John, just back to catching up on the podcast after starting back to work again a month ago after the COVID shut down. Listen to your podcast on the bus on the way into work. Keep up all the good work that you do. So a while ago, you were asking if people were moving to ClassicPress or staying with Gutenberg or something like that. And I have to admit, I have started to experiment more with the block editor since I was using Elementor and they are not supporting the ClassicPress. So I was looking for other options to move away from, such as reliance on Elementor. Looking for other options to move away from such a reliance on Elementor. I started by creating a few blocks using Create Gutenberg block and have now moved to creating a plugin based on Create Gutenberg block that has multiple blocks for the company that I work for. Don't hit me. Nah, I never would do that. But I actually like it. Since being a developer, I like to get my hands dirty and into the code. Using Create Gutenberg block, I am able to manipulate the code the way I want, both front and back end. In addition to creating Guten block, I have started working on theme development using WP Rig in an effort to create a lightweight current theme. That and the local development environment has given me a good boost to my productivity. I'll let you know how things progress in the future, as unfortunately, due to COVID, the company I work for is at half capacity, and a lot of my time is now being spent on maintenance, fixing things, plumbing, carpentry, electrical, etc., rather than in software development, which is my main job there. Take care and keep supplying us with great information. Martin. Well, thanks a lot, Martin. No, I'd never beat you up. It's like I said, people are going to choose, and they're going to find out what works best for them. And some people will find Gutenberg works well, and Gutenberg is about to go full-blown editor. With the next release of WordPress, it's going to be an editor for not only the content, but for widgets and sidebars and headers and everything else. So keep that in mind. Gutenberg is probably better than I give it credit for because, well, I don't like it for the way it was shoved down our throats. And I just don't want to mess with learning it because, yeah, I'm stuck in the Elementor camp too at the moment. And while I almost moved the Beaver Builder, I just couldn't pull the extra $300 out for a brand new license after I just paid for the Elementor license. So it was a matter of, compromises. But I found Elementor and Astra to be fantastic development tools together. And yeah, it's still under WordPress. And yeah, I'm going to keep the Gutenberg editor disabled and until they force it enabled. So we do what we do. And everyone will find their best way of doing these things. And that's the way it's going to work. But thanks a lot, Martin. I greatly appreciate it. And appreciate the letter. Keep sending me stuff, folks, and I will get it read out and we'll talk about it and get some stuff going back and forth. Okay, no questions this week and no contest. The contest still hasn't been taken care of. I still haven't had the time to finish dealing with that issue. I've got some new help here that I'm slowly turning on to doing things, and pretty soon I'll get her to doing other stuff to deal with the show. Okay, that's pretty much it. I covered up in this show here the following plugins: the master image feed for Elementor, which got a 1, the economic and market news, which got a 4, and then the timer Counter Elementor Addons, which got a 4. And a couple of quick reminders: the meetup for last month was a pretty great success. I had one attendee from the group and a few others showed up, some friends I know of. So it wasn't a full-blown WordPress meetup, but it was still a meetup of people that hadn't really seen other humans in a good couple of months, The next WordPress meetup was set for July 12th. I've decided that since my July has gotten pretty crazy for my weekends, I got several things I got to do. I'm just going to cancel it for July of this year. I'm looking to see if I can set one up in August, maybe the first or second week in August, and maybe have a meetup then. I'll know over the next week or so how everything is coming together. So I'll let folks know. If you want to find out more, keep up to date, just go to WP-Plugins A-Z.com/meetup. We have left meetup.com, although there's still some remnants of us there. But meetups through WordPress WP Plugins A-Z will always be at WP-Plugins A-Z.com/meetup. Want to know more about me? Find out how complex a person I am? Go check out theroguestavern.com, where you can check out my adventures into the wild, searching for gold, hiking, camping, out on the gun range, building out my own oasis, all kinds of interesting stuff. My last 12 weeks have been building my own oasis. It's an interesting journey. I've got like 12 videos, 13 videos up there, taking a backyard of pure grass into an oasis of garden wonder. Anyway, that's all I've got for you. I'm going to wrap it there, and it is time for the tequila shot. Thank God for tequila. Ah. All right. I'm going to let my girl take us on out of here.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at WPPlugins A-Z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A-Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to WPPluginsAZ.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using WPPluginsAZ.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA-Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Alrighty, well, thank you, everyone. I greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your crazy day to stop in and visit. And thanks, Joey. It's going good down here. And thanks, Hemdian. Keep an eye out for August, and the meetup will, well, I can't say it will happen, but it's most likely to happen because my July, I'm doing my training for my hunting license, and I'm digging lots of holes for a new deck. So I'm going to be very, very busy for my weekends in July. And I'm building a greenhouse too. So if you have a piece of content that is common on several pages, is there an easy way to handle that without making copies? Content on several pages. Using tags. And tags is the best way if the content. Oh yes, there actually is. It's what I use on my on the WP Plugins A-Z site. It's an old plugin. I'm not sure if it's still available. If you need to get hold of it, let me know. Give me a second here. Let me look up the name of it. It's a really great plugin because on WP Plugins, my footer down there where my contact info, which is across every site. And every once in a while, I need to change that content. I don't want to change it on, several hundred pages of my website. So I use this one plugin for it. And it is called Cookie, faster image insert. There you go. Analyticator. Let's see. And it's been such a long time since I've looked at it. And come on, what's the name of it? Hello, where are you? Creation, table, drop settle, duplicate, edit, cookie, GeoIP, gravity forms. Okay, where did you go? Oh, that's the wrong site. That's why I can't find it. I'm looking in the wrong site. All right, there we go. Let's see. Let's get in here and take a look, see, and I'll get you a link to the plugin if it's still available. All right. Event, gravity, layered, MailChimp, MailMy, shortcodes, premium, pre-link, math, bank, and sigils. Cleaner shortcodes everywhere, anywhere. No, that's not it. Come on. What's the name of that thing? My shortcodes, is it what it is? Shortcodes everywhere, anywhere? I think that's what it is. I think it's shortcodes everywhere, anywhere. Let's see, are we still available? Yep, we still are available. Huh. Let's see. No, that's not it. Sorry, that's the wrong one. My shortcodes. There it is, my shortcodes. That's the one I'm after, my shortcodes. Okay. No, it's a very old plugin. If it's still available on WordPress, we'll see. Yeah, it's something that could desperately do. Yeah, it's still available for download, but you know, I've been running it forever, and it's a very great plugin, and it will solve your problem. Eventually, one day, it's not going to work, and then I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do then. So probably I'll have to hire a programmer to recode it for me, because it's something that I'm just not going to give up because I've been using it for so long. All right, well, that's it, folks. I appreciate everything, and thanks a lot for tuning into the show. We'll check it out next time. We'll see you next week. Take care now. Bye-bye. What were you doing there, kid?